The Blackhawks lose 3-2 in the season opener. They get goals from Frank Nazar and Teuvo Teravainen. We'll break down the loss next on CHGO Blackhawks. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use the code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jay Zawoski. That's Mario Tirabassi. Sarah Fichter's running the show for us tonight as the Hawks lose 3-2 to the Florida Panthers in the first game of the NHL season. The Hawks get goals from Nazar and Teravainen, but come up a little short. But you know what, Mario? After 60 minutes, I walk away from this game feeling satisfied and somewhat encouraged, especially based on the way the first 20 went. This game could have been 8-1 easily. But in the second intermission, they get it together. And for the next 40, play pretty even with the Florida Panthers. And it came down to a weird bounce, a deflection out of midair. Jesper Boquist gets the game winner. And the Hawks were right there at the end, had a bunch of chances to score, hit some posts. They were right there with the defending champs.
You remember a game last season when they played the Panthers and they scored 7 seconds into the game on the Landon Slager goal?
Yes.
Remember how the rest of that game went?
Bad.
They lost 7-1.
Yes.
And that's how this game started to feel in that second period, or that first period, where Frank Nazar gets the opening goal. We're all jacked up over it. And I think the Hawks were pretty hyped over it too, and kind of got away from them in that moment. And that second half of the first period, the Panthers just poured it on. 17-3 shots on goal in the first period for the Panthers. 35-10 in shot attempts.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it yet.
That's accurate.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know if the Blackhawks ended with 35 shot attempts in the game. Yeah, they did. But I mean, it was just
42 for the record.
Yeah. Well, I have 52 here for all strengths. But
all right, I was looking for 35.
But I mean, the way that the second period, I think everyone started to settle into the game. They win the second period. They tie the game. They outchance them in that second period, and you feel pretty good about where they're going into the third. And then I mean, they were outplayed for the total of the 60 minutes. Frank Nazar, Teuvo Teravainen, and Tyler Bertuzzi, they were working really well all night. Connor Bedard was just inches away from a few impactful plays. Hit the crossbar on the first period goal first period goal post. Almost connected with Colton Dock in the second period.
Yep.
And Dock, the puck just went right off the
he also
the
walked
heel of his
Seth
blade.
Jones.
Had a chance to embarrass Seth Jones. So he was right there all night. And then Spencer Knight, man, like the biggest reason this game wasn't a replica of that 7-1 drubbing last season was because Spencer Knight played the way that he did.
Yeah, he was not one of the stars of the game somehow. The three stars were AJ Greer, Mackie Samoskevich, and Jesper Boquist. By the way, as we were getting ready for the show, they were interviewing AJ Greer on ESPN, and he was talking about how fast and good the Hawks are in transition. He's like, you have to watch your back. They're on top of you right away. That's a guy who was playing angrily at the Blackhawks all night. But, hey, like, you know, that's showing the Hawks some respect, and that's the sort of team they want to be. Look, they're not going to win a lot of games. They're still projected to be – most people have picked them to finish dead last in the league. I don't think they're going to be quite that bad, but they're going to be bottom 5
probably
for sure. But they're competing, and that's what you want to see. You want to see them compete. You don't want to see them fold the tents. I do think you're right, and I had the same sort of feeling after the Nazar goal where they almost got like, oh my God, we're winning.
Yeah, right.
And they got really excited and
Yeah.
they were overskating the puck and you could see the adrenaline flowing through those young players. And it just had to get, like, the intermission came too late, really. But, like, they needed the intermission when it happened to just, like, okay, everyone sit down, everybody take a deep breath, and let's get back to what got us the 1-0 lead. Because up to that moment, it was a pretty even game, back and forth. I know both teams were feeling each other out, but it's crazy. The Panthers didn't really take over that period until Nazar scored.
Till that 1 minute goes by, and then they tie the game, and that's really when it kind of, like, you know, they put their foot down on the gas. But on the broadcast, they talked about after the first period, which is when Nick Foligno dropped the gloves with Greer, won the fight on my card.
Agreed.
They said on the broadcast that Foligno kind of had that same kind of messaging during the intermission to the team of just like, we know we're young, but we just need to kind of settle down. Like it's the game is there's a lot of emotion in it. There's a lot of anticipation getting to this night, and you're starting the season in a juiced up building in Florida. It's the banner night. It's the defending Cup champs. Like, there's a lot of energy. It's a contender. I'm gonna send a strongly worded letter to Gary Bettman, petitioning that the Blackhawks get to start the season next year at home, and they get to play the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
I want a nice, calm
Just ease into the
opening game
season
for this Blackhawks group, because it's been cup winning night or banner night for the Avalanche. It's been Bedard's debut in the NHL was on the road against Sidney Crosby. Then they go on the road to open it against Utah in a playoff
arena,
in a playoff atmosphere.
Right.
And now this year they're starting the season another banner night. Like, can we just get a very nonchalant?
Yes.
I don't want to be on the ESPN triple heading open. Put me on ESPN Plus tomorrow night.
Yeah, put me on the Ocho.
Playing the Blues or something. Like, I want something just real simple for this Hawks group next season on opening night. I don't want a pomp and circumstance opening night. But that's besides the point. I mean, hey, maybe next season's team, they get the pomp and circumstance opening night, because by the time we get to game 82, which it should be, hopefully, it's a completely different, more mature team by the end of the season than we saw tonight. And I think tonight's game, even with the loss, even with getting kind of worked over at times, there's a lot of encouraging play, and if this is a baseline for this team to start with, I feel optimistic.
Well, it's one hell of a way to start too. It's like, okay, vibes are high, everyone's feeling good. I saw I think Mark Lazarus wrote about the vibes before the game today. We've been talking about how it just feels different in the room. Practices have a different level of energy and jump, and it just feels better. And you're thrown to the Wolves. You are thrown to the best team in hockey. Yeah, they're down their two best players. That's fine. But all the things you mentioned, right? Banner night, everything going on. And I think after a rough 10 minutes, a really rough 10 minutes of the first period, they were able to find it, settle it down, and regroup. And I really want to I think Spencer Knight deserves a lot of credit for holding down the fort while things were going insane, keeping them in the game. And I do think, too, that he himself has a bit of a calming presence on his own. He's very kind of soft-spoken, very thoughtful. When he is asked a question, he thinks about it. He is a leader on this team, and he's one of the oldest guys on the team, which is crazy. And I think just having him back there, how many times have we heard players say, either to us or elsewhere, like, when we have a goalie back there that we know we can trust, it helps us play loose, it helps us play more free. Having him back there for the better part of 82 games is going to make this team play better.
Yeah.
I don't think you can take much of what you saw in this one and make any grand conclusions about any player. I see a whole bunch of comments in the chat like, this guy sucks, that guy sucks, this team sucks, everyone sucks. It's like, well, let's pump the brakes. It's one of 82 against one of the best teams in hockey. A lot of these guys playing together or on the line for the first time together. The line that played together last year, looked pretty damn good.
Yeah. That second line was clicking really well. I think everyone is everyone, if they weren't already, if they didn't already have Frank Nazar on their radar around the hockey world, not just Blackhawks fans, because if you're a Blackhawks fan, you don't know about Frank Nazar. Come on, where you been?
I don't think you're a Blackhawks fan.
But the hockey world, if the first time they really paid attention to Frank Nazar was when he got his contract, and they were like, ooh, I don't know about that contract. Reminds me of Rick DiPietro. Tonight's a night where a lot of those minds probably got turned a little bit of, oh, this kid's probably going to be worth it. Like he had a solid effort tonight, and I think playing him stylistically with Bertuzzi and Teravainen like really works. And I wouldn't be shocked if that trio doesn't really get shifted around much this season. Yeah.
We are going to get into some of the individual performances. A lot of people want to talk about Artyom Levshunov. His first period was awful. There is no denying it. Turnovers, mishandles, 2 penalties, could have had 3. That one in the second period where he kind of got the stick in the nuts of that was Greer too, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think it was Greer.
Yeah.
It was incidental, but it was there. But I think that Levshunov, like the rest of the team, really settled down and figured things out as the game went on. And when you saw late, when they were trying to put the pressure on the Panthers and get that tying goal, a lot of that went through Levshunov. And anyone reaching a conclusion on Artyom Levshunov today is setting themselves up to look like an idiot in short order.
I hope so.
This is the number 2 overall pick a year ago. He is 19 years old. Yeah. He barely knows English. He's in his 700th league in 4 years, right? Like, there is a lot on his plate right now, let alone managing top 4 minutes on one of the youngest teams in hockey against the defending Stanley Cup champions. Let's pump the brakes before making any major declarations on Artyom Levshunov. There was a lot of bad in that first period.
Yeah.
The second 40, as he and the rest of the team calmed down, he looked a lot better, looked a lot calmer. He's going to have to manage the puck better. Absolutely. But 2 of the dumbest plays I saw all day happened from 2 of the oldest Blackhawks. I saw a bad pinch from Matt Grzelcyk, and I saw a bad pinch from Nick Foligno.
Yeah.
So, like, as Blashill said, it's going to take all of these guys, let alone the young and experienced guys, time to get used to the system, and especially the special teams. It's going to take time to get used to those. So let's not there's no reason to declare anything besides how did they look tonight. It was a bad night for Levshunov overall, but you still got the glimpses of what he can do. And let's not forget, he played 18 games last year and looked pretty damn good for the better part of those 18. So I think it's a little nuts to say he's bad or he's a bust or anything like that.
Yeah, him and Rinzel tonight both had moments where you were like, ooh, okay, can't be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year without looking like a rookie sometimes.
Sure.
And I think there's, as we've said from the start of the offseason all the way till now, like, growing pains are going to be a part of this team's it's just going to be a regular part of this team because of the guys that they're playing. Ethan Del Mastro, he's been around for a little bit now. He's still going through it. Rinzel and Levshunov, they're still going through it. But I think to come away from this first game of the year against the Panthers with Levshunov and Rinzel and say, you know what, there were still moments of good. There's still a lot to work on. That's, again, I feel like that's kind of like best case scenario for those two to not come away from this looking like, oh my God, you need to go to Rockford tomorrow.
Well, I mean, look, we all wanted this team to go young. We were all wanting Oliver Moore and Lucas Reichel and Ryan Green in this lineup instead of, Foligno and Lafferty and whatever. If you want that, you're going to have games like this and moments like that. It's something we're going to live through all season. But the reason you put them in these situations is you hope that the exposure to it at the highest level gets them out of it sooner than maybe you play Levshunov half the year in Rockford, then he comes up and then has to learn 40 games into the season. Just get it out of the way and trust that he can handle it, because 18 games last year, he looked pretty solid. So, all right, we got to hit the break zone. Before we do, we have 2 nominees for our Game Pucks today. We'll reveal the winner at the end of the show. My nominee, Frank Nazar, kicking off the NHL season with the first goal of the year, but just looked very Frank Nazar-y, right? Mm-hmm. Going to the middle of the ice, making things happen with the speed, playing a solid two-way game. So, yeah, Frank Nazar is my nominee for Game Pucks. He had 2014 of ice time, a goal, an assist, +1. He had 1 shot on goal and 2 more shot attempts in this one. So that's my nominee. Mario?
My nominee is the man that they cheered for during the national anthem, Spencer Knight. 34 saves on 35 shots faced. Like we've said, this guy, without him, it would have been 7-1, 8-1. Like, it would have been real bad without the performance that he had. You heard it on the broadcast. Kevin Weeks was praising, his positioning, having his hands out front. There were a number of times where, breakaway chances or 2-on-1 chances came in tight on Spencer Knight, and just having his blocker and his glove out in front in the position that they were, rather than kind of like keeping him back and trying to react to the shot, he just kind of met it and made the save or caught the puck. His positioning was sound. I think if you can get performances like this, hopefully not on a nightly basis, but be able to rely on him and he can make some saves that you don't expect from time to time, that's going to keep the Hawks in a lot of games.
All right, get your votes in. We'll reveal the winner at the end of the show. Just vote on YouTube there. By the way, over 500 people watching. Thank you very much. If you're new here, welcome. We do 5 shows a week, post games, studio shows. Tomorrow we'll be in here at 2:30 doing a studio show. Mm-hmm. So when you get in here, I'm sure you're already subscribed to the YouTube page, but make sure you hit that like button every time. Get in that habit. As soon as you jump on, hit that like button. It boosts us up. YouTube doesn't really favor hockey. You can find football, you can find baseball, but hockey gets buried like it does everywhere else. Your likes pump up the hockey on YouTube, and we need that. So hit that like button for us. It takes half a second, and we would really appreciate it. We are going to hit the break zone for the first time. Talk to you in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365.
Whatever the sport, the app to bet it is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it is sports betting the way that it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. You can bet on all of your favorite teams in every game this season, whether it's spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it all. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Speaking of betting and Illinois, Cubs, Brewers.
Let's not talk about it.
Tomorrow, pivotal game. Cubs right now, plus 102 underdogs on the money line.
Maybe get some runs.
Oh.
It's not just a song lyric,
Their total is 7. Let's see if that happens. You can bet on all that and more at Circa Sports Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, you or someone you know can call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And Chicago Sports Network is the official TV and streaming home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, broadcasting over 300 live games per year. CHSN offers the All Access plan. That's $29.99 a month, and it gives you access to all the games and all the programming on the network. So Bulls, Sox, Hawks, and other programming for $29.99 a month, or you can get the individual team plan for $19.99 a month, and that gives you access to the games of the team you select. So if you only care about the Hawks, $19.99 a month, you get all the Hawks games. You can sign up to watch CHSN at chsn.com, or you can watch via the CHSN app, which can be downloaded on Apple and Android devices, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung TV. CHSN is also available on Xfinity, DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Fubo. Visit chsn.com for more details. Not CHGO, chsn.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for hitting that like button for us. We appreciate it. And while you're here, again, if you're checking us out for the first time, you should also check out our Die Hard program. We've got a sale going on right now. Our Die Hard program, for $36, you get a free CHGO shirt like the one I'm wearing, but yours won't be faded because I wear this like 3 times a week because it's so freaking comfortable. $36 gets you a free shirt right off the bat, access to all of our great written content, including my Blackhawks beat, Mario's prospect pyramid tiers, all the prospect stuff we write, 20% off all of our events, takeovers, watch parties. There are still some tickets left for a couple of our takeovers this year. We got the Jonathan Taves game. We're going to be in the suite for his return to Chicago. We've got the season finale against San Jose. Some tickets remain there. So jump on, go to allchgo.com/join to become a diehard. You want to do the $56 plan, you're going to get that great branded Bills hat that just came out, limited selection, so you're going to want to get that quickly, allchgo.com/join. All right, one thing to remember.
Yes.
Heading into Thursday's game against Boston, Alex Vlasic will very likely be back.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a big difference.
Ethan Del Mastro sits?
I would think Del Mastro or Grizzly, but probably Del Mastro.
Yeah. I think they'll probably keep in the veteran, at least for right now, but not have him play top pair with Rinzel. If Vlasic's healthy and good to go, I'd like to see him paired with Rinzel and getting the majority of the minutes and just go back into that top defenseman role that he should have. But yeah, that I think even just making that switch in the lineup should make a difference defensively. There were a number of times tonight where Del Mastro specifically was caught up ice on giving up a couple of those odd man rushes for the Panthers. So yeah, I mean, it seems evident that Jeff Blashill really likes Ethan Del Mastro as like
he said in the pregame, he's a good player,
as
definitively.
Yeah, I think he likes his play style, his
the cut of his jib.
He said moxie. He said swag. He said he's a foxhole guy. Like, it's definitely clear that he really likes Ethan Del Mastro. It's just the play on the ice has got to follow the praise.
Yeah.
To get the opportunities.
One of the things I've noticed tonight from all the Hawks young defensemen, this includes Sam Rinzel, is a little bit of indecisiveness. They'll sort of be standing there with the puck like, where do I... Over here.
Yeah.
Like, there's that little bit of... We talk about this all the time. You can see the players thinking, and that is death on the ice. Now, again, that's adrenaline. That is the moment. That is... And I wrote about this for allchgo.com today. It's really easy for Sam Rinzel and Artyom Levshunov and Oliver Moore and Ryan Green to join the Blackhawks on the back end of a season where there's no hopes for playoffs, there's no hopes for success, there's really no expectations on them at all, so they can just sort of ease in and play kind of fearlessly. Game 1 of 82 in a hostile environment like that, that's different.
Right.
So this is the first time they're really playing in games that theoretically matter. Right, so that's going to be an adjustment for them. It's going to be a different speed, a different processing level, and again, with more time and more development, it's going to look better and better game by game. It's not going to be linear where every game is better than the last, but it'll be up and down. But you hope at the end of the year that number is way up. You know, that arrow is way up. Yeah. But I think it was very clear tonight. You could see, and even on that goal, was it the first goal? Where Rinzel was kind of net front and didn't really know, because Kaiser went to play the man behind the net, and Rinzel was right there net front and didn't really do anything. He was kind of just stuck in between, and you saw him like head on a swivel, not sure where to go. Those sort of things with coaching and with time and experience will solve themselves. That was the second goal. That was a Verhaeghe goal.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is. Just getting more comfortable with, because as we heard throughout the preseason and training camp, it's learning the system, and just getting comfortable with it, and the repetitions are just going to be better as time goes on. You get more comfortable in it. From day one of training camp to the final day of training camp, yes, the messaging from Jeff Blashill was, it's starting to feel more natural for them to play this way, but it's still going to take some time. He talked about with the penalty kill setup, how last season it took some time for the Lightning to settle into their penalty kill system.
He said it took them a month.
Took them till November 1st to get it down. And then from November 1st to the end of the season, they had the best penalty kill number in the NHL. Now, different personnel, obviously, with the Lightning compared to this Blackhawks team, but it still factors in that it takes some time for these things to settle in, especially when you got young guys coming in from college or junior or everything. Like they're getting into it, or it's a change up from last year to this year. Like Richardson and Sorensen weren't running this system. It's a different system. So getting used to that hopefully cuts down on that time where you're thinking. And then also too, someone said in the chat, like, and you alluded to it as well, it's the Panthers. That's a team that's going to force you to make decisions faster than pretty much any other team in the NHL. So I think this was a toss you into the deep end type of game. And even though you lose, you come away feeling like, you know what, there's still teachable moments. And I think as these young defensemen and as this team gels a little bit more, the thinking becomes less, the natural flow of things, the more instinctual play within the system starts to grow, and then things will feel a little bit more seamless.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I know it's.
I hope at
least. The first game of any season feels better or worse with the result, right? Yeah. I always think of an opening day win or loss in baseball. Just feels like so good to win that first one, and if it's the first loss, you feel like I've waited 6 months for this day or whatever it is, and now it's here and they freaking lost. Yeah. And my day is ruined and it sucks. I'm feeling a little bit of that from our chat today. A lot of disappointment to not win this one. But look, if they play, I don't know. I did not hate the third. I know Blashill said he didn't love the third.
I want to get into this.
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
Do some math here. This is at all strengths for the second and third periods. Shot attempts for the Blackhawks, 42. Shot attempts for the Panthers, 34. Actual shots on goal for the Blackhawks, 17. Shots on goal for the Panthers, 20. Scoring chances for the Blackhawks, 16. Scoring chances for the for the Panthers, 18. So, as far as metrics go, as far as possession goes, as far as generating some offense, very even. Yeah. In the second and third periods. The first period, again, shot attempts were 35-10 for the Panthers. Shots on goal were 17-3 for the Panthers. Scoring chances were 20-4 for the Panthers. and you come away
20 scoring chances,
and you come away with
crazy.
just a one goal loss in which you're pulling the goalie, you're fighting for it, and that effort at the end at 6-on-5, I didn't hate. They had a few chances.
It would have been nice to get into the offensive zone a little bit sooner than with a minute left. You could see Spencer Knight was like,
well, he was getting frustrated.
Let's go. Yeah. Get the puck.
They were like east-westing it, and then anytime that they'd try and cross their own blue line, the Panthers were right there ready for it. Again, it comes down to you're playing the defending Cup champion, one of the Cup favorites, even without Matthew Tkachuk and Alexander Barkov. Like, it's still a team that this season, without those two guys for a big chunk of the year or at all for Barkov's sake, is still a team that's like, yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs. Yeah, they're probably going to contend for a three-peat. Like, it wasn't playing the Predators or something like that, and you get walked in the first period. Yeah. If that was the case, I'd be way more concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Spencer Knight, did anyone see the face he gave André Burakovsky on that 2-on-1? I don't know what he was mad about, because Burakovsky had to go cover defensively unless Burakovsky screened him.
Well,
or maybe he just wants him to eliminate the shooter completely.
Yeah.
He kind of got caught in the middle.
When you're playing defense as an offensive player, I know, like, trying to turn and face the puck and try and square up is not as natural for you as it is for a defenseman. But skating in the same direction with no resistance to the guy coming in with the puck, that's not really helping out your goalie all that much. I think Knight is probably saying, like, hey, man, try and attack the puck carrier and at least make the shot attempt, the impending shot attempt, more difficult on them than giving them basically a free lane to
see. My instinct would be, if I'm in Burakovsky's spot, I am taking away the pass option. I'm going to the non-puck carrier
Sure.
and just letting Spencer Knight know, take him. I will handle this guy over here.
Yeah, I mean, in that moment,
Of course,
though,
easy for me to say from the couch eating nachos and not playing a game
I
at
think in
35
that-
miles an hour.
I think in that moment, though, Burakovsky is so much one-on-one with the puck carrier.
Yeah.
You might as well just try and eliminate the shot attempt than to just be like, oh, let me try and reposition myself. I think you're better off just trying to take away the shooting lane and go for there. Because if you're going to screen the goalie, you got to stop the puck. And I think he didn't do either of those things.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Burakovsky's Blackhawks debut when we come back. Get your votes in for Game Puck Winner. We're also going to debut a new segment coming up that is the brainchild of one Mario Tirabassi. That's a lot of fun. We put it together kind of last minute today, but it turned out good. We think you'll enjoy it. So get those votes in, hit that like button, get those subscribes in. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you. Follow or subscribe on your favorite app. We'll be back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365.
Hey, athletes, here's a question for you. Are you serious about leveling up your game? If your answer is yes, the right coach can change everything. And right now, finding the right coach is easy with Eye on the Ball. Doesn't matter if you are a kid just starting out or competing at the top level, you can sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net. Create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that's right for you. From soccer to swimming to baseball to basketball to football and hockey and many, many more. You name it, the coaches are out there. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. Again, that's eyeontheball.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level. And coaches, super easy for you to sign up. All you got to do is create your profile, upload your background check, and you're ready to go. And Eye on the Ball has a promo going on right now for your first 6 months free. Check them out, eyeontheball.net.
And going to NFL games is a lot of fun, especially when there is revenge on the table. If you're heading out to D.C. to watch the Bears and Commanders, you're going to need tickets. If you don't have them yet, our friends at Game Time get you in the door for $119, and it's only going to get cheaper as the game approaches. The Game Time app gives you an advantage. Back to you, the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing deals and experiences in just a few taps. Love that fees are always included, so you see what you see right there on the page is exactly what you're going to pay. They've got views from your seat, so if you are going to a stadium you've never been to before, you know the seats you're buying. You know what it's going to look like. It's awesome. And with their lowest price guarantee, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find it lower somewhere else. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. All right, that was the last break of the show. Thanks for sticking with us through those 2 minutes. We are still hoping to get some video from Jeff Blashill post-game. If not, we'll fill you in on what's being said. But before the break, we were talking about André Burakovsky, and not a phenomenal debut by any means for him. No points, finished even on the night. 15:40 of ice time, had one shot attempt and one hit, was also credited with a takeaway. I have some decent hopes for him this year. He's a guy that, when healthy and when on in a top six role, has produced at this league before. I was hoping to see a little bit more from him in this one. The only times I noticed him were really when I was looking for him, and that play we were just talking about with Spencer Knight kind of giving him the stink eye on that defensive play. Other than that, he was not really a factor at all. And again, we're not declaring anything after one game, but as a guy who's a veteran who has won 2 Stanley Cups and has been a big part of those Cup teams, I was hoping to see a little bit more from him here.
Jeff Blashill has talked about wanting to not change things up too fast, not change things up, being reactionary.
He waited 40 minutes.
Third periods, the lines changed up. Ryan Donato was moved down to the third line. Ilya Mikheyev up to the first line. So things got changed up. Burakovsky had even strength tonight. 21 shot attempts against to 9-4. So that's a 30% Corsi 4 percentage. Not good.
Nope.
Actual shots on goal at 5-on-5 with him on the ice. 13 against.
Oof.
1 4. Now, it's not much better for Connor Bedard. 15 against and 2-4. And not much better for Ryan Donato. 10 against, 3-4.
Yeah.
So that first line, as good as the second line was, that's how as bad the first line was. Bedard was creating a lot of chances, but I think it was a lot of more individual things happening. Burakovsky and Donato weren't doing him much. They weren't doing him much help. So I think I'm not saying that completely change everything, but I think for a first go of it, not great. And I think out of Donato and Burakovsky, like, you want those guys to be able to be they're veterans. They've been around the block. They've been around enough to be ready to go for a game one. Be ready to go for a team like the Panthers. Burakovsky's a 2-time Cup champion. Like, he's been in those battles.
Yep.
So you want to see them be a little bit better. You want to see the execution be better. I know Jeff Blashill, Ben Pope had a tweet about what Blashill kind of said post game. Hopefully we get the video before the end of the show, but he said, like, it's more about the execution from tonight than it is necessarily systems or guys being completely, like, confused about what's going on out there. So I think it's the execution. With Burakovsky, like, you want him to be able to be a little bit more effective, be a little bit more assertive, and especially, like, when you're playing with a guy who last year scored 30 goals and your centerman is Connor Bedard, like, you need to be able to find your role and be reliable in it. Otherwise, like, I'm not opposed to Ilya Mikheyev getting some run with Connor Bedard. He was a guy. Yeah, he was a guy that, like, I feel like night in and night out, Mikheyev's going to give you what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah,
and I'm not changing up that second line, so I'm open to some suggestions if I'm Jeff Blashill about what do we do to maximize Connor Bedard. And through the training camp, through the preseason, Burakovsky and Donato made sense. Their play styles can work playing off of Bedard.
Remember, Burakovsky missed some time in camp too with a little tweak.
A little bit of time. But if Thursday's game from Burakovsky and Donato look like tonight, I'm considering some changes.
Someone in the chat, Sarah, I think it was Connor Del Rio, said something about Bedard. There it is. He says, we keep saying Bedard needs better line mates, and while that still holds true, Bedard should be driving his line at this point, being his third year, and he doesn't. I'll disagree with that, because a lot of the best scoring chances the Blackhawks had tonight were created either by Bedard or were Bedard on his own. He was credited with 2 shots on goal. The one that hit the post does not count as a shot on goal.
Yeah.
He also had 4 shot attempts, set up Colton Dock for a really nice scoring chance. We mentioned earlier, walked Seth Jones, kind of like dipsy-doodled through his legs and turned him around and just couldn't convert on Bobrovsky. He was creating a lot of offense on his own. Yes, you want some help from his teammates. And here's the question. Are you changing? I know you said you're keeping the second line together. Are you changing the look of that first line Thursday in Boston? Are you going to give some other line mates to Bedard? I don't know if you can just completely bail on Donato and Burakovsky because it's one game against the Panthers, as we've been saying all day. We shouldn't make any grand conclusions based on this. But is this the opportunity Lucas Reichel needs to get back in the lineup? Maybe not with Bedard, but back in the lineup somewhere. I don't know. Does Colton Dock deserve some time up there? But then you've got Doc Mikheyev and Bedard. I don't know. That's much more help than Donato and Burakovsky.
I think if I'm making a change, I think I probably go with what Blashill did. Is move Mikheyev up and Donato down to the third, flip them first and third lines. I think I would do that and then see what that goes with. But again, do you need to completely change everything after one game? Probably not. I think you give it another go in Boston and then make a little bit of an assessment before the home opener against Montreal. Individually tonight, this is from Natural Stat Trick, Connor Bedard, 2 shots on goal in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way tie for most on the team. Individual chances created. 3 players had 6 individual chances created. That was Sam Renzel, Ryan Donato, and Connor Bedard. Individual scoring chances created. 3 for both Donato and Bedard. Individual high danger chances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 created. Connor Bedard, one of them. 5 guys each created a chance, and Bedard was one of them. So individually, he was part of a group that had the most scoring chances, the most high danger chances, and the most just attempts to try and make something happen. So he's a guy that individually can create. And we've seen that the first 2 seasons. This season, you heard Kevin Weeks say on the broadcast, like in person at ice level, it's evident that Connor Bedard is a faster player than he was before.
It was evident in this game, too.
Yeah.
And I saw him back check several times.
Yeah, it's good. Hey,
good job.
Can't win the Selke without playing some defense. That's what he's going to start going for now.
All right,
he heard everyone talking about Macklin Celebrini being a 2-way player. He said,
and
Connor
I took
Bedard,
that personally.
Connor Bedard can become a 2-way player.
All right, a couple super chats we want to get to. Nathan, $10, says, the 2 most noticeable things to me tonight were team speed and skating. The amount of times the Panthers recovered on the back check, closed out, and blew by was very apparent in the skill gap. I think he's referring to the speed and skating of the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just it's a team full of all-stars that all know how to play the game. And the one thing that everyone has said about the Florida Panthers that has made them special, I've heard Bill Zito say it. I've heard, Paul Maurice say it. I've heard analysts say it, is like when those guys go to that team, everyone buys into their role. There's no like, hey, I'm a top line guy. Hey, come on, I'm Brad Marchand. I got to be a top line guy. Like, no, he's perfectly happy in a third line role on that team. Mm-hmm. Everyone is just committed to the system. And look, a lot of them have been playing together for a long time.
Right.
Paul Maurice has been there for a long time, so the system is ingrained in these guys. So that sort of thing I wouldn't read into. I don't know if, Nathan, you missed it earlier in the show.
I mean, it's...
But A.J. Greer was saying how fast the Hawks were and how they were causing them fits with their speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to buy in to a system like that when all you got to do is look at the backs of the guys' hands and look up to the rafters. Oh, yeah, if I buy into this, I can be a Stanley Cup champion. Like, that's what happens when you get talented teams put together and they start playing a team system. And that was the conversation around, when there was the potential for Sam Bennett to hit free agency. And a lot of the conversation was like, yeah, like Sam Bennett like got put into the spotlight being with the Panthers and playing the role he did, but could he have come to Chicago and been the same Sam Bennett he was in Florida? Probably not, because it's not the same. It's not the same team around him that allows him to play that style. So you have that group together, and
if look at the difference between Seth Jones in Florida and here.
Yeah, well, narrative plays
that does play a big part
as well,
but he's just free to play the role that he's more fit to play at this point in his career.
Yeah, I think the team style, that what the Panthers do is what the Blackhawks want to work towards.
Right.
Where it's that team sense of buy-in, the pace of play, the relentlessness. Like, look at how many times the Panthers just were on top of the Hawks time after time in their offensive zone to keep possession alive and to keep the pressure on the Hawks to where they couldn't get the puck out of the zone. That's what, guys that have the speed of Frank Nazar and Oliver Moore and Landon Slaggert and all these guys, that's what that speed and relentlessness that you see Kyle Davidson building through the draft, those profiles of players, when they mature in their game and they're playing together as a unit, that's what they want it to look like. So, I think we're getting some glimpses of that now, and hopefully by the end of the year, the system is a little bit more natural, as we were kind of saying before, And then just the confidence to play in those roles
Yeah.
and to play in that system gives them the ability to play with more speed that you could match something like the Panthers. Now, skill for skill, yeah, Panthers are more talented.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
you know, if you can match a pace and not every game is against the Panthers. If you can play at a pace that the Panthers do, but then do it against the Predators or do it against the Kraken or do it against the Sharks, you could probably outpace, outspeed, outwork your way to a win in those games.
Yeah, 100%. We are queuing up Jeff Blashill and Spencer Knight. You're going to hear from them in a moment. I do want to get to Lebowski's super chat real quick, Sarah, if we can. He says, for $5, I was skeptical about Nazar. I thought he was ultimately a third-line scorer on a contender. I think he can be a core fourth best forward on a champion. I mean,
this is big news that Lebowski
Yeah.
5 is come around on Frank Nazar, because this is one of the regulars in the chat that was just like fighting upstream with Frank Nazar. So shout out Lebowski 5.
I mean,
for seeing the light.
I am a little unclear on what Frank Nazar ultimately is.
Superstar.
But he's got, I think like the reason a lot of people don't say superstar for Frank Nazar is because there wasn't a lot of hype on him coming out of the draft. He didn't absolutely light things up at Michigan. He was a really good player on a really good team, but it wasn't like the stats were jumping off the page like to a Bedard level or, oh my God, these are comical statistics we're seeing here. Like Dave Bolin with the London Knights with his 120-something points. Maybe ultimately, when the Hawks are Stanley Cup contenders again, Nazar is a third-line guy. But that means a lot of other stuff has gone really, really well.
Right.
He's got speed. He's got the willingness to defend. He looks like he's added the ability to put the puck in the back of the net. He converted on his first breakaway chance this year. There's nothing in his game that is a red flag to me. It's just a matter of what is the ultimate end game for him statistically. But right now, there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah. He is Frankie franchise.
He is Frankie franchise.
Yeah. I think the way he played in the back half of last season, what he carried through the World Championships, being invited to the USA Olympic orientation camp, the way he played through the preseason, like things are just rolling. Got the extension. Things are snowballing so positively for him. And this is a guy that has a ton of self-confidence. And he backs it up on the ice. Like I've said it for a while since Jeff Blashill's come in, that Frank Nazar is going to be a guy that I think can quickly, maybe not more than Ethan Del Mastro, but I think Frank Nazar could become Jeff Blashill's favorite player because of the way that he plays, the skill, the speed. It just feels like a systematic fit for what he wants this team to be. And I think Kyle Davidson probably looks to Frank Nazar and say, that's exactly that speed, that mentality. That's what you want to build with. And I think it's infectious. You see Connor Bedard, I feel like finally has his best friend and his running mate with, in the locker room with him and have it be Frank Nazar. And it's a guy that, like, I don't know. I'm as excited as we were on draft night when it was like, oh my God, they didn't take Frank Nazar. No, they did take Frank Nazar. As excited as we were for him at that point to become a Blackhawk and see his progress, now that he's squarely in the NHL, I'm even more excited to see what he can become, because all this talk about, like, Bedard's got to get someone to help him.
It could be him.
I think Nazar is an in-house guy that is the first one that you point to and be like, that's a guy that helps him.
Yeah.
It takes pressure off of Bedard, takes eyes off of Bedard. It gives another weapon that the Blackhawks have that opposition has to care about. You put them on different lines. You split up the talent. It's two guys that can drive their own line. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what Frank Nazar in a few years tops out at. Like, I still don't believe fully in this statement, but there's a better than 0% chance that Frank Nazar could lead this team in scoring this year.
I don't think it's impossible. That's for sure. All right, let's hear from Jeff Blashill. He met the media a few minutes ago. Here's what he had to say about the Blackhawks' 3-2 loss to the Florida Panthers.
What did you take away from that tonight?
Well, I think obviously Spencer was really good, so that was a real positive. I think I'm glad we're in the situation 2-2. In the third period, I'd like to be in that situation lots, but now we got to find a way to win those games. There's certainly a lot of growth that we have to have. I think coming into this, I recognize, and I think I've talked about it with you guys, we're going to have peaks and valleys, and we got to do a way better job of those valleys not being so low in terms of the types of mistakes that we make where, to me, you're kind of giving away chances. And so we just got to continue to grow and work on finding ways to make sure we're not giving away easy chances. They're going to create enough on their own. We got to make sure we do a better job of that.
How would you rate the execution on the new systems in Game 1?
I didn't think it was a whole lot of system. I don't think we're going to walk out of the game and have a big system meeting tomorrow. I think the game will be more on pure execution, probably more on careless plays, certainly with the puck, being harder on the puck. I'll give them tons of credit. It's they're missing two great players. It's a banner-raising night. Sometimes you can kind of sleepwalk through those games, and I thought they came out and played really hard. So it's a great lesson for us of how hard you have to compete on pucks, what type of stick battles you got to have. I think it's going to be more of that than actual execution and systems.
You talked about prior to the game, and the guys talked about it after the game, playing a complete 60 minutes. It seems that was the big takeaway for you guys.
Yeah, I thought at times we played good. At times we were in their zone, and second period was good. So yes, there's going to be pushback. There's going to be ebbs and flows to a hockey game. For me, it's more of just the individual mistakes can't be so big. When you turn pucks over, you're going to have it's going to look chaotic. So that can hurt your system play. But everybody's just in scramble mode at that point. I just think finding ways to minimize and not give up nearly as many chances in throughout a course of a game, and we gotta step by step get better at that.
You had a lot of guys who played NHL, young guys who played NHL games, but maybe not season openers. Do you think, when you look at Renzel and Levshunov in that first period, that maybe some of that was jitters?
Yeah, I think so. And we've got guys that you come up at the end of the year, you're playing the last 9-10 games. This is a different animal, and it's only going to continue to ramp up. And so I think understanding what the level's like, how good you got to be every night. It's such an every night league. It's such an unforgiving league that you have to be on top of your game every night. You're not going to be perfect. I get that, but you can't let the low be so low. And I think certainly there's some guys that need to take that lesson, and kind of that's their takeaway.
Moving Mikheyev up with Bedard in the third period, what was the thought process there?
We did a little bit late in the second. I thought Ilya was skating. The thing that he can do is kind of go win pucks, and I think that's an important piece to that line. I think Donald can score on his own. He's kind of a guy who I think can self-generate a little bit. So we just thought maybe it would give us just a little more, kind of, I guess, I don't know if spark's the right word, but finding ways to win pucks and have the puck a little bit more in that line.
What'd you make of how your team responded to after the first period?
Yeah, I thought we did a good job. I really did. I thought obviously that was nowhere near our best. And I thought we did a good job of kind of individually responding and playing better and collectively doing that. And I thought the second was certainly our best period. Third was you kind of start once that goal. The goal's a little bit of an unlucky break. And then from there we gave up chances the last 10 that we don't need to give up. You can't win the game or tie the game by giving up another goal necessarily. I know you got to press to score, but you can't give up easy chances. So again, just lessons for us.
Did you put a lot of stock in face-off numbers, or is it? How much influence do you think that is on the game? Or?
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say it's everything, but it's hard to chase it, all night, and so I just think it's something that is going to be continually important. And when you win them, and winning them on special teams, all those things are really important.
What are the key positives to take away from this game, going toe-to-toe with the Stanley Cup champs?
Well, I think first off, I would say Spencer Knight was positive for sure. I would say the fact that we responded in the second and played the type of hockey I think you have to play to be successful. And we had chances to tie it late. So we don't want to be a team that's close. We want to find a way to win that game. That's part of the growth process.
All right, that's Jeff Blashill, courtesy of the Chicago Blackhawks. We saw a comment roll in on your comment about Nazar helping Bedard, and they said Nazar can't help Bedard if they're not playing together. Do you want to explain again why?
Want me to repeat what I said?
Yes, repeat it again for those that were not listening. Why Nazar helps Deep Paris. Nazar can't help Bedard if he's not playing on his line.
You have someone to. Yes, I understand. Line mates makes a difference with who you're playing with, but the idea that only line mates impact how guys can be helpful to an individual player is not the end all be all. Look at I'll say Seth Jones. Seth Jones with the Blackhawks, right? He's a number one defenseman, did everything he could, bad metrics, looked like a bad, everyone talked about how bad he was. He goes to Florida, completely different group of teammates. His forwards are better. His goaltender is better. And oh my gosh, look at that. He's a much better defenseman.
All of a sudden.
Like with Bedard, yes, line mates make an impact, but also the improved quality of teammate. You have a guy like Spencer Knight, helps make a team better. Frank Nazar being a guy that can help Connor Bedard is in the line of it's another option offensively that a team has to play against. And with Bedard over the last year, 2 years, it was stop Bedard, stop the Hawks. And I think with a guy like Frank Nazar, you don't have that option anymore. You have to worry about it. I mean, look at tonight. You kept Connor Bedard off the score sheet. But that second line with Nazar, Teravainen, and Bertuzzi scored both goals. And it was a one goal game. Even if it looked maybe comfortable for the Panthers in a 1-goal game statistically, you still had a different option other than Connor Bedard, and it's not a one-off thing. Frank Nazar having a good game is not going to be a one-off thing over 82 games this year. He's going to be a factor. So you want to put him on the same line? Sure, you could do that if you're Jeff Blashill.
You've got one line.
But then again, you get down, if you stop Nazar and Bedard on one line, you stop the Hawks.
Yes. All right, it's time to introduce your new segment.
Yes, it is.
You want to give the concept to the people at home before we unwrap this box?
You all remember Connor's Corner,
We
right?
do. Fondly.
When Connor was the only thing that we had to be excited about with the Blackhawks. He had his room, his race car bed.
Yep.
He had his parental controlled iPad
His
with
Dino
screen
Nuggies.
time. He had his Nuggies. He had his, his Jack in the Box and all that stuff. Well, now there's more friends to hang out with Connor.
Yeah.
And
He's
they've
grown
gotten
up a little
older. Much like in Toy Story 3, when Andy got older and went to college, Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar and all these guys, they've moved into the frat house on Madison. Yeah. Dirty laundry, red cups.
Don't touch those socks.
Books, I think. I see notebooks.
Snap that sock in half.
And the portion of the Animal House poster that we can show
We can't show it legally.
without having our YouTube account get shut down. The Frat House on Madison will highlight some of the best performances from the young players in each Hawks game. Post-game shows, because it's not only about Connor now.
Right.
There's other guys here. So tonight, fittingly, it is Frank Nazar, who is our highlighted frat house on Madison fraternity brother, with his 2-point night, over 20 minutes of ice time, and again, just having a really big impact on the game. So yeah, I'm hoping we can have some fun with this, and again, like fitting with the theme that it's not just Connor now. There's other guys. This season is that first actual wave of the rebuild being realized.
Yes. All right, we are going to go to overtime on this show. If you're watching us on Samsung or you're watching us on Roku or any of the fast channels like that, you're going to want to switch over to allchgo.com. If you're on YouTube, we're still here for you, so stick around. We want to hear from Spencer Knight, who spoke after the game, just for a minute, and then we're going to reveal the winner of our first game puck of the season. Here is Spencer Knight following tonight's 3-2 loss against the Florida Panthers.
It's cool. it's interesting playing on the other side being in here, but it was fun.
What was your nerves like, or how'd you feel during the day leading up to it?
It was good. It's just you just play your game, be yourself, and that's all you can do.
You got lots of shots early. Felt good.
Yeah, and I try to be able to play in any situation.
The video tribute looked like you either didn't hear it or conspicuously avoiding it.
I wasn't avoiding anything. I was playing a game, and I made sure I slew the crowd, but I'm there to play hockey.
I know you worked in your glove and your stance this summer. It seemed like you were challenging and pretty successful with that tonight. How do you feel like it went?
It's not really anything I'm really thinking about anymore. It's just play hockey and try to be a good teammate and try to help when I can.
Is there a little bit of a sort of obviously not the result you guys wanted, but going toe to toe with the champs is a little bit of a confidence booster like that at all?
I wouldn't say it's. We got to play every game. It doesn't matter who you're playing. I think we got to focus on us. We can't focus on who we're playing and just show up when we're playing a cup champs. Like we got to play. Every team's good in this league. So
I love that dude.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
I love Spencer Knight, man. He is not here for your feel-good stories. He is not.
I mean, he's coming from those same Panthers down the hall, and being in a room where you're competing for Stanley Cups and being in that environment, you want to stay in that environment, and Spencer is going to be a guy that's going to be around, hopefully, should be at least, for when the Blackhawks are getting back to that point, and getting up to that level of being in the conversation for contending and all that. So if he plays like he did tonight, he's going to help fast track that team to getting to that point.
All right, Sarah, the time has come. Let's reveal the winner of our first game puck. It is Spencer Knight. What was our final percentage for good old number 30?
We still have people voting, but we have a 75% Spencer Knight, and a Frank Nazar has 25%, and we have about 430 votes.
Dang.
That's pretty good, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I just ended the poll.
Yeah.
It's deserved. I mean, that's the proper vote. Spencer Knight kept them in this game and hung in there when he was the only one hanging in there. Mm-hmm. So shout out Spencer Knight. Great game. All right, we're going to wrap things up. We got everything right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good job. Good first show. We did it, everybody. High fives all around. All right. We're back tomorrow at 2:30. We'll have plenty to discuss, I'm sure. And then we'll have another post-game Thursday after the Hawks and Bruins. Like we said, if you're new to the show, welcome. We're glad you're here. We are here 5 days a week. Non-game days at 2:30. Game days, pregame for road games. Mm-hmm. Home games, Greg and I are here. Greg Boyce and I. Mario stays at the United Center and reports post-game 82 times a year. We got your post-game show, even when the local channels don't.
Since we're in overtime, I'm going to take advantage of the 502 eyes we have right now.
Yeah, thank you.
The Cubs are in postseason, and we have our last watch-along tomorrow. And
it's not the last watch-along, Sarah.
We might have our last watch-along tomorrow.
Thank you.
Cubs are down 2 in the series. We are playing Game 3. If everybody can head over there, the game is at 4:08 tomorrow.
4:08, I believe. Yeah.
And so head over to CHGO,
4:08.
either Sports Channel, CHGO Cubs Channel. We will be doing a watch-along and a post-game. So sickos come in.
And after us, CHGO Bulls post-game.
Yeah, first
preseason game for the Bullies.
How's it going for the Bulls?
Are the Bulls
Silence.
The Bulls don't know what's going on.
Tight game late. There you go.
All right, tight game late. That's what we want, baby.
It's a nail biter.
Tight games late. That should be the slogan of the Bulls and Hawks this year. Tight game late, baby. Let's go. All right. Bulls next. We're back tomorrow at 2:30. Thanks for being here. We love you guys. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.